Oh my god.
Of 2024 seem like an omen for the collapse of the West. You see, in the past, influencers were seen as the most talented, hardworking, and inspiring icons in American culture.
True, aka me. I'm the new age of influencer.
People like Mark Twain, Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, and Neil Armstrong, generations of people all around the world, grew up aspiring to be like their idols. But today, we now look up to influencers who brag about how many dicks they suck.
After this, we'll show you
Me. That's me. You guys look at me, I'm always like, I've sucked more dicks than you, loser. Since I'm literally the Mark Twain of this generation. That's what I've been saying, Turk. Thank you. Like, Jesus. Yeah, I don't fuck with minions.
my phone. You can see all your friends and rappers DMing me. They're in fucking nudes. So no, I don't have to do any work.
How many men sleep with their wife?
Okay, so Jason, give me a genuine review. How was it?
100%, 9 out of 10.
Or how many times they can exploit their kids' childhood for more likes on Instagram. And so in this video, we're going to be going over the most degenerate influences on the internet, how these people became this way, and why this trend is only going to get worse.
Bro, what if we saw me in this video? Would you guys, and I was like, I turned the video off, I was like, fuck, fuck, fuck.
The rise of Generation Alpha. And who better to start with than Jack Doherty?
Oh,
surprisingly,
God.
he came from a rather humble family background. Doherty's father, Jack, comes from Ireland, while his mother comes from Poland. They were immigrants to the US, and him and his entire family were a very close-knit unit. On paper, it seemed like things were perfect. But the problem was, he was sucked up in a culture of Generation Z, where fame, vanity, and hollowness are rewarded the most, and Jack wanted to get his name out there. But little did he know how far he'd have to go to achieve the success he dreamed of. Besides, by the time he got into this whole game, he was only 13 years old. He was an iPad kid, someone who'd been brought up by these influences his whole life. So it's not really a surprise when the whole culture around him and everything he grew up with tells him that being an influencer is the hallmark of success. His first YouTube video was just a small clip of him flipping a marker twice in a row. Nothing that special. He just wanted to make videos and see if anyone cared about it. However, to his surprise, many others did, and the video quickly gained popularity and
anything
started
back in
gaining
2016
views.
and land it, and you would literally get views.
With this, the subs quickly added up, and the profits with this were starting to flow in. Bear in mind, this guy was just a young teenager.
Man.
He had no idea what he was really getting himself into. He just wanted that spark of excitement as a 13-year-old boy, someone who'd grown up watching Logan Paul, Smosh, Shane Dawson, and all of these OG YouTubers. But by 2019, he was now making bank, even though he was only 15 to 16 years old. Eventually gaining so much notoriety that he appeared on Logan Paul's podcast and proudly admitted that although he was still attending school, he had made so much money, somewhere in the region of $800,000, leading him to buy his own house.
Are you still in school?
Yeah, I go to public school.
How much money have you made from YouTube at 15 years old?
Jeez.
If you bought a house, where do you live? $500,000.
Higher.
You've made more than this 15-year-old kid has made more than $500,000.
$882,000.
A little higher.
And this wasn't just an ordinary house. This was a
this
palace for
really-
a 16-year-old. And you can only imagine being this young, gaining money and fame this quickly would completely change the direction of your life, and not just in a good way. Whilst on the surface, everything seemed to look good for Doherty. He was now becoming famous, rich, and free to do whatever he wanted, never having to worry about school again. He'd come from a close-knit family, and he'd achieved his goals at the age of 16. And he did seem to be a very respectable, well-raised young man. All the comments on the Logan Paul podcast were praising him, but the ego that would come at such a young age with so much success would eventually start to transform his mind. And we could see this in the following years, as his YouTube pranks and vlogs became more and more nasty, getting so bad that he was kicked out of various places across the US, including most notably of all Walmart. In fact, due to his floor lava challenges, he is still banned from all Walmart stores. Now, for the uninitiated, this challenge sees an individual enter a room and casually roar, "The floor is lava."
Wait, floor is lava. Hey. Ooh. Ooh. Lava! You're dead.
Giving everyone in the vicinity just 5 seconds to swiftly get both feet from the ground, by any means necessary. And apparently after 5 seconds, whoever still has feet on the ground is
wearing
a
a
loser.
Team
It's
10
so
hoodie.
dumb, but it's easy to see how such a challenge could destroy a supermarket. Just pissing off regular normal people trying to go about their day, with some influencer kid trying to stir up trouble to get more views and money from them. But it didn't stop there. As he started to feel more and more untouchable, he was young, rich, famous. He could do anything he wanted, and eventually his neighbors would be the victim of his ego. Constantly having to deal with all these tasteless pranks pulled on them.
Fudge. We just did it, boys. We just did it. Fudge that. Fudge that. This kid's looking at me.
Notably, even Dr. Phil expressed concern about Doherty's reckless behavior.
Bro, why is his face so swollen? Bro, it looks like 1,000 bees attacked his face.
You see, by 2020, he'd already amassed 1 billion views by this point on various social media platforms, and admitted that he would do just about anything for a like. His exacerbated parents, family, fed up with his rude, obnoxious, unruly pranks, and close encounters with law enforcement, meant they turned to Dr. Phil for help. Little did the parents realize that raising an iPad kid like Jack would have such disastrous consequences later down the line. The smart, intelligent boy that was on the Logan Paul podcast was now just an ignorant brat. Shortly before his appearance on Dr. Phil, Jack continued to find himself in a series of conflicts with his neighbors, whom he referred to as a Karen due to her constant complaints about his deliberate attempts to annoy her with his dirt bike. And so the Dr. Phil episode would be titled Neighborhood Prankster or Menace to Society.
Damn.
He would then be accompanied by his
Like
rather
they were
useless
rich.
father, who loved his son too much to see what he was doing was wrong. And here
Dude,
Jack
I
would
see
go
where
head to head
his
with his
face-
neighbor Rachel,
I see
but
his
she would
face
claim
where he
he was a
gets it
tyrant,
from.
even a bully. Jack then denied the claims.
It really starts to affect someone else's life, and I think that he just really needs to realize that.
Right. So enough's enough and too much is too much, right?
Exactly.
Called
There's two
him
sides to
useless.
every story, and I think you guys are kind of focusing just on her side, but
So Dr. Phil addressed the issue directly, telling the cocky influencer,
But when you start targeting one person repeatedly, it shows me the fact that you're being a bully.
and whilst it does seem ridiculous
Damn.
that this young teenager was in such a situation, it did foreshadow things to come. And Jack throughout this whole show just seemed unaffected by Dr. Phil's observations. Why should he
I didn't
care?
know he was
He's
on
already got
Dr.
everything he
Phil.
wants in life. No one can tell him what to do, especially as a teenager. In fact, when the neighbor joined in on the discussion, he insinuated that he could have taken even more extreme actions.
Rachel, I am sorry for riding my dirt bike by her house, but I also could have posted her face on the internet also.
He sarcastically remarked. As a result
Bro,
of his refusal to hear,
Dude, what an I can't get over that face. Like, his face looks like a mask. Like he looks like he's 50, but like 15 at the same time.
the advice given to
Real
him,
Turk.
Jack's appearance on Dr. Phil was abruptly ended by McGraw. Subsequently, he recorded a reaction video on YouTube alongside his parents, claiming that he had been manipulated from the beginning. However, he concluded the video with another dose of sarcasm. I don't care, Dr. Phil, I only went on the show for publicity.
And I don't care, Dr. Phil, I only wanted to show for publicity, so ha!
And of course he did. Just confirming everything we already knew.
Jeez.
Jack was addicted to the algorithm, to clout and money,
Punching
because in
bag.
his little LA bubble, these are seen
Defeated.
as the things that deem you as a high-level individual. No depth or character, just materialistic obsessions. And this is the problem with many people.
Even when I was a kid, I did not like influencers like this. Thank you, feet. Who watches this? Like, yeah, Jack Doherty's he's so dope, he's so cool. I want to be like him.
People like Jack Doherty. There's a whole new generation, Generation Alpha iPad kids, who are growing up watching these influencers on their devices,
Jeez,
like Jack
it
did with
really
Logan
is
Paul,
little
and learning
kids.
to emulate these people and become even more extreme than them, because these people are seen as the idols. They're the ones with the money, the
That's
fame,
crazy.
the popularity. Even though they'll do the most degenerate things possible for views, it doesn't matter, because the holistic approach to your character is swept aside by quick likes and views. These people all crave publicity, and it's becoming more and more apparent that kids these days will just continue following this path no matter the consequences, as they don't
Watch
see the
gamers,
consequences.
real.
They have no idea what will happen in the long term, and they don't care. And as parents become more and more isolated from their children, just giving them devices to look at because they're so tired from overworking, they'll be inadvertently raising these people to think like
They
this.
haven't really even dug into all the terrible things Jack Doherty's done. First of all, he has an extremely young child audience, and all he does is flash tits and OnlyFans and sex and alcohol and drugs and money, just the most
Kids doing
degenerate
anything they can to
behaviors
attract
his
eyeballs
viewers.
and always dreaming up new perverse ways to get people talking and keep attracting young impressionable followers who copy their own behavior. And worryingly, society rewards them for their degeneracy. There's a huge incentive here to be at the bottom of the barrel, to be the most degenerate, because you'll then be rewarded handsomely. Hence the reason these people keep doing what they're doing. And it
Real.
explains why Jack now has 13.7 million subscribers
Is
on
a
YouTube
good
and more than
word,
9 million
real.
followers on TikTok. However, as anyone with a functioning brain knows, eventually, if you piss off enough people, soon enough you get a taste of your own medicine.
Yeah.
Things wouldn't always be golden. He'd already been handed a golden platter with
Yeah,
everything he
that's
already
what
wanted at the age of 16. But this wouldn't last forever. And by 2023, Jack's life would take a turn. In August of last year, Jack engaged in an
More
IRL
attention.
streaming session alongside two other degenerates, Fusi and Neon. Fusi splashed water at Jack after being referred to as a baser. Now, the whole reason these people were invited in the first place is to have these crazy reactions. Everyone knew they would go viral, and so they had to cause conflicts with each other. It was all pre-planned
Jeez.
anyway. And so Jack would continue to call Fusi a little bitch, ridiculing him for not getting his kick money. Not impressed and mentally deranged, Fusi then gave Jack a smack he would never forget. And whilst Fusi is a completely deranged fool, This lashing out did kind of feel satisfying, but again, it's hard to tell what's even real with these people. All of this is an illusion to get more and more views. There is nothing of trustworthiness about any of these people. And the same thing happened in September of 2023, when Jack came into an altercation with the equally as degenerate Island Boys.
The Island Boys, you know when the Island Boys are beating you up, you know that's bad. Remember seeing that? He's got his ass beat so many times.
To strike Jack on camera, which honestly could have just been faked as well, seeing how viral it went when Fousey smacked Jack in the first place. But things soon became way too real. When Jack attended the OnlyFans star Karina Koff's Halloween party, he got entangled in another hostile verbal dispute.
Dude, this is insane, this punch.
Before you guessed it, more views. Especially because at this point his channel was starting to die out. But as the conversation continued during the live stream, the situation did intensify. And so Jack, probably instructing his bodyguard, intervened and actually punched one of the guests, spreading like wildfire on Twitter. But suddenly Jack's name was everywhere. For the first time, people were hearing about this guy again, and his views started to soar. More money came in. Even though his reputation was completely destroyed, it never mattered to begin with. Because you see, the more controversies Jack could get into, the more money he would make. And anytime he didn't get into these controversies and tried to make real content, his views were just at the bottom. He couldn't seem to progress anywhere. And in this day and age,
I don't know how creators like stay afloat like that. Like the only time they're popular is when they're doing something wrong or in controversy. Bro, he keeps these giant bodyguards around all the time, no matter what, because so many people want to hurt him, and he's fucked over so many people. A grown ass man smacked him. I mean, he wasn't a kid when he got smacked.
Anyone can become
He's
an influencer.
an adult now.
He has to do something to stand out, whether that be hitting people, annoying people, or parking in handicap spots. In December of 2023, Jack shared a photo of himself occupying a disabled parking space, with the comment reading, "I'm so retarded they let me park in the handicap spot." The comments ranged from hateful to hilarious, with one guy telling Jack that the handicap spot suited him, and another one saying, well, at least he is aware of his condition. But there did seem to be a consensus that he does deserve to be in jail, and he eventually will be. As in January of this year, Jack, yet again, addicted to the controversy and views and clout that this gives him, became a prime subject of backlash on social media once again. This time for ridiculing a police officer who apprehended him for speeding in his Lamborghini Urus within a residential zone. Why was he speeding in the first place? For more clicks, likes, and further validation. He's on the endless loop of feeding his own ego.
He doesn't even bring up the worst things that he's done.
And as a result of a culture taught that these empty values are everything that makes you successful. Not freedom, virtue, family, and community, but being an ignorant, arrogant, materialistic man. But when you're as influential as Jack and receive as much money and validation as he does since the age of 15, a little thing like a speed zone is not going to stand between you and edgy material. Upon pulling Jack over, the officer promptly approached him and informed him that he'd been driving at least 30 miles per hour over the speed limit in the area. Shortly after the officer left, the sports streamer proceeded to feign tears and utter the words, "I will stop, I would never do it again." His entitled, egomaniac personality was on display once more. And it is worth mentioning that this is not the first time Jack's actually been apprehended for speeding.
Dude, if I ever get that kind of money, bro, I'm never spending it like on watches, chains. That shit's so ridiculous.
In the vicinity. A couple weeks earlier, a resident had stopped him for exceeding the speed limit, emphasizing the dangers of driving at such high speeds in the area. But this doesn't matter when you don't care about the community or the people around you. Everyone else is just an NPC in their view. But it didn't take long for Jack to have another run-in with officers, and this time the allegations were a lot more serious. You see, Jack would post a video of the incident showing himself speaking with uninformed officers who had responded to the situation.
Well, what would they call for?
They said you stabbed your brother in the eye and the neck. Hell yeah. No, I'm kidding. That's fucked. No, I did not do that.
The officers eventually departed the premises after determining that no one had actually suffered from any injuries, and it was most likely just someone trying to swat him. But a few days after this, Jack then found himself banned from Kick, showing just how toxic his followers had got. The exact same pranking people that Jack is himself. And this is Kick, a streaming platform / gambling site that just pays people whatever they can to leave Twitch and join their platform. And whilst it's better for free speech, it's still a pretty degenerate site. But Jack eventually, as always, seems to get his way, and he came back just a few days later to the platform. And at the end of January 2024, one of his most recent streams, and a scantily clad woman was knocked out. This particular Kick stream is known for its extreme content, and this Fight Club broadcast was no exception, where Jack and Heel Mike have been producing wild and controversial content in Kick since its launch. But on January 28th, the stream took things to another level when streamer Mackie95 agreed to fight Don Patrick in a match dubbed as Kick's first ever man versus woman boxing fight.
What the fuck?
And surprisingly, there was no professionalism. And then Don Patrick would just start landing shots on Mackie during the introductions. Eventually, after getting hit with a few haymakers, Mackie went down, and the ref had to step in to prevent any
What the
further injuries.
fuck?
This dumb, disgusting content is just getting worse and worse, more and more degenerate by the day, and it just shows that we're creating a culture of people, a generation of people who want to be YouTubers instead of astronauts, engineers, or businessmen, doing everything they can to go to the bottom of the barrel for views. And Jack, a once respectable young man, is now just a complete degenerate, doing more and more dumb and insane things to get his next hit of clout. Another debauched, depraved individual worth discussing is Doherty Scott Wilson-Eason, otherwise known as EDP445, a 33-year-old influencer synonymous with degeneracy. The disgraced internet personality and former YouTuber.
It's so crazy that this guy got banned on YouTube, went to jail for pedophilia, a bunch of other shit, and now is a famous TikToker, and all the TikTok kids don't know anything about him, they don't remember him, they forgot about him, and all this other stuff. And TikTok has done nothing about it. And he has like he's millions of followers on TikTok.
His name EDP445 stands for EDAP445, and he first shot to fame for making content centered around the Philadelphia Eagles. Initially, the content, which was mostly football orientated, was fun, informative, and unique, hence the reason he amassed a huge, deeply loyal following. He was funny, loud, and boisterous, and most people loved him, as he became the inspiration for numerous memes. One of his videos titled Eagles Trade McCoy, What the even went completely viral. He was pretty charming in his own way, and really easy to watch.
Inappropriate. Dude, I mean, listen to this, your boy Feet. I have a Kick account, and I do stream on Kick every now and then in the mornings. I don't do a face cam, and I literally will just stream straight up anime. Like, I'll just like open Crunchyroll, Funimation, whatever anime website, and nothing ever happens. They just let me stream.
Watch and just chill out too. But for some reason,
like
social
no
media can
moderation.
attract some of the most degenerate people out there.
Osby! With a $15 cash app! Where the fuck are you? Osby, show yourself.
Whether it's the algorithm making them do degenerate things for views, or the fact they're just complete degenerates to start with, doesn't negate the fact that it's scary that these people are raising the next generation. Because it wouldn't take long for his funny, loud, fun, and informative channel to start taking a downward turn. To be specific, 2020 is the year the wheels started to come off the big man's bus. It all started when he uploaded a video titled Dak Prescott, shortly after a game between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys, where Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott suffered a severe injury to his right ankle, resulting in a compound fracture and dislocation.
I remember that injury. I'm not a huge sports fan, but I remember seeing that injury on Twitter. It was brutal.
He would then
you know those leg injuries where people's legs like snap in half and shit, and like you're just like, oh, when you see it. It's like those injuries, that's how bad it is.
Expressed in the video that he was mocking Prescott's injury because it was an act of karma. Because in 2017, Dallas Cowboys fan mocked Eagles Carson Wentz season-ending injury, in which he tore his ACL.
See, here's the thing, Cowboy fans. You mother talk so much. Oh, injury prone ass Carson Wentz. He ain't. Karma.
No, I'm not talking about suggestive themes. I'm talking about it's technically illegal to stream anime because like I don't have a license to stream it like Disney or Netflix, whatever pays the you know the production team, whoever owns it, to, like so like you're not supposed to do that. So on it's just another example of like you get away with anything on Kick. You could literally like stream copyrighted content. You can like if I streamed anime on Twitch, I'd be banned in 5 minutes. Like they would take the stream down. Maybe not that quick,
even went as far as expressing his hope that Prescott's injury would end his career, and soon his deeply loyal football audience would push back as he gained significant criticism from numerous content creators, such as Cole Raven and Jamari, who highlighted a video from EDP445 dating back several years. In the video, EDP445 called out Eagle fans who mocked a severe injury to a different Dallas Cowboy quarterback. It was EDP's really cold, shallow remarks, hypocrisy, and the criticisms from other creators that marked a turning point for his channel, as his channel quickly began to decline in popularity as quickly as it gained virality.
Osby,
but this was only the
with
start.
some biddies, okay? Thanks for the fucking biddies, bro. Appreciate you. Welcome back home.
Of things to get much, much worse. And starting from July 2020, just a few months after this controversy, rumors started circulating about EDP engaging in sexual conversations with minors. A very serious allegation. One instance involved EDP expressing his desire for a 16-year-old girl to be his girlfriend and requesting explicit content from a 15-year-old user. On July 9th, 2020, EDP then
you guys know those YouTubers who do like the Chris Hansen thing and they set up people and like they just like YouTube them and record them act like Chris Hansen? I'll miss you, Vamp. Nah, bro, if Kick came in and said don't do that shit, Sin, I wouldn't do it. But they just let me get away with it, so you know, I mean, like it's just fun to hang out and watch.
Released a video addressing these rumors, dismissing them as mere jokes. It was the first time that fans really saw him that serious, and because his fans were very loyal to him, As his charming boisterous behavior was easy to watch, they would say this was just an attempt to cancel him. However, as the evidence started to pile up and more channels started speaking about him, EDP found himself in a hole as his disgusting degenerate acts were uncovered, and soon, even his most loyal audience were turning their back on him, until April of 2021, when any suspicions involving EDP's attraction towards minors was confirmed when a YouTube channel called Chet Goldstein, managed by a man named Alex Rosen, broadcasted a live.
Yeah, so one of these YouTubers literally who set up people, like he goes online and he poses as a 13-year-old girl and tries to catch predators and then like records them and exposes them on his YouTube channel, happened to run into a famous YouTuber and catch another YouTuber.
Stream featuring chat logs that Rosen claimed were from a conversation between EDP and a decoy named Sophie. Now, the channel was notorious for conducting similar operations, where they arrange online meetings with men who believe they are interacting with underage girls. Rosen explained that he created multiple fake Instagram profiles, including one posing as a 13-year-old girl, and messaged EDP directly. Alexandra, a friend of Rosen's who often acts as a decoy in these operations, read out the messages that she claimed were exchanged between EDP and the fake account. During the 2-hour livestream, Alexandra also mentioned that EDP sent explicit videos and photos, which obviously couldn't be shown.
Hopefully they have a police standing by when they do that. Sometimes they do, and they've gotten some people arrested, and in this case they didn't.
YouTube's policies against sexually explicit content.
Alright, and that's where he sends his picture that I'm not going to show because it breaks YouTube TOS. We aren't going to show that. This video would get immediately removed.
But the video revealed that EDP had sent several sexually explicit messages, with the conversation concluding with both parties agreeing to meet up. 24 hours later, the Chet Goldstein channel then posted an hour-long video confronting EDP. Rosen and YouTuber CC Unit approached the now disgraced EDP with pictures of the scandalous messages.
Don't age, dude. Let this be known. Let this be known. I am not a. So what are my mom? May she rest in peace. You guys know that, right? You guys seen the videos. All that bullshit. My mom did not raise a fucking. Okay, she did not raise a creep or where. I know what the screenshots say. Okay, I'm aware of that. I'm looking right at them. Okay, my mom did not raise.
The evidence, however,
then who raised you? If your mom didn't raise you, who raised you then, bitch?
Something otherwise. But to be clear, as of now, these are just allegations, and no criminal charges have been brought against EDP.
So the decoy said, hey, meet me here, and EDP happened to meet them there.
But although he has his own website to make unhinged videos, he's no longer allowed on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, which means his career as an influencer is more or less done.
No,
but it's a point
he's
to bring
on
up.
TikTok. EDP has an account on TikTok. They're tripping, bro. Yeah, I literally see it right here on TikTok. Or maybe that's a reaction. I don't know. Maybe he did get banned. Nah, he has an account. It's right here. I knew it. It's private now.
That so many of these charming, entertaining, cool personalities on YouTube are actually just complete predators in the background, and they're the ones raising the next generation. They're the ones inspiring people to become YouTubers. And as the top job that kids want today is to be a YouTuber, it's a really scary direction we're going in. But believe it or not, there is perhaps another influencer who might be even worse than EDP, and his name is James Charles, an American YouTuber makeup.
And here's James Charles is making a comeback here recently. Like, he just did an episode with Balin, he just did a YouTube video with Balin Levine, and Balin Levine has a massive child audience.
Artist, model, and vlogger who famously became the first male spokesmodel for the renowned cosmetic brand CoverGirl, even collaborating with the brand ambassador and singer-songwriter Katy Perry. But how did he get here in the first place? During his teenage years, Charles ventured into the world of hairstyling as an amateur and later delved into makeup artistry after a friend requested his help for a school dance. He quickly honed his makeup skills and soon began offering professional services to young women in this area. In December of 2015, Charles started a YouTube channel where he shared popular makeup tutorials, and less than a year later, at the age of 17, he achieved a major milestone by becoming the first male brand ambassador for the renowned cosmetic brand CoverGirl. This appointment was met with widespread acclaim across various social media platforms, and soon after, Charles made his debut in promotional campaigns for CoverGirl's So Lashy Mascara. Then, expanding his creative wings even more, he ventured into the fashion industry by launching Sisters Apparel, a clothing line, collaborating with Morph Cosmetics to create the Sister Collection, a huge makeup collection.
Does he still work with Morph?
November 2018. It took off, people loved it, and James's charming persona gained him millions of loyal fans across the world. He was the new symbol.
He really was like on top of the world at
LA influencer culture, getting so big that he even collaborated with Katy Perry and appearing on the once super popular Ellen DeGeneres show. He became a huge star almost overnight. That was up until very recently, when a few of his actions would take down his entire career. So what happened? Well, initially Charles was always beloved, trusted, and even worshipped by his fans. Everyone loved him. In the Family D'Amelio video, where their snobbery and repulsive attitude was exposed, James seemed like the good one, the humble one, the real person.
Sometimes happens when... Oh God.
So dramatic.
Don't be so dramatic.
Excuse yourself.
Is she being real? Or is she
Yeah.
being dramatic?
His advice was respected and actively sought out. However, when the truth started to emerge about who he really was, and the contrast between his on-screen persona and his true self was exposed, he went from having everything to scraping the bottom of the barrel. And he has no one to blame but himself. Honestly, this guy's just so controversial and has been accused of so many crazy things that he could have an entire video dedicated to him. But to see why he fell, we need to look at the month of February in 2017, which marked the beginnings of Charles's first major public backlash, when he posted some very raunchy tweets about Africa and the Ebola virus. Realizing the gravity of what he tweeted...
Bro, why did James Charles have this haircut for a while? Like, he randomly shows this haircut and it was weird. You guys remember this?
And his woke teen audience fanbase, Charles swiftly deleted the tweets and issued one of those fake cringe apologies. Although CoverGirl expressed its disapproval of his comments, the makeup brand still continued to work with him. After all, it is just a tweet. But this would prove to be a mistake, because a year later in 2019, following his attendance at the Met Gala Awards, Charles took to Instagram to express his admiration for the event's efforts in promoting, quote, influencer representation. Not surprisingly, his statement received criticism, because it highlighted how out of touch and inside the influencer bubble of LA he truly was, as it seemed to imply to many that the already rich and privileged influencer community was somehow marginalized and in need of further representation. The same month at Coachella, Gage Gomez, an Instagram model who was 20 years old at the time, alleged that Charles had coerced him into engaging in sexual activities, despite Gomez previously expressing that he was not attracted to guys. In response, Charles took to Twitter to address the situation, a fatal mistake, as he asserted that he and Gomez had been communicating for 5 months prior to Coachella, emphasizing that all their interactions had been consensual. But this wouldn't be the last of such accusations. 1 month later, the Sister Squad, Charles' YouTube friend group, consisting of himself, Emma Chamberlain, and Ethan and Grayson Dolan, split up. Although the exact cause for the breakup of this well-known group was never
disclosed. There is a Sister Squad? What the fuck?
Suggestions that Charles's misconduct played a role swirled about, and suddenly his golden reputation in the LA influencer bubble community was starting to pop. But it would only get worse from here. In January 2020, he was then accused of using the N-word after he shared an Instagram featuring himself and a group of friends singing My Type by Saweetie. One of the worst things you can do, especially in LA. Anything controversial, let alone something like this, can completely destroy your career in seconds when you live in this LA bubble. As a result, the hashtag James Charles is Over party began trending on Twitter. And in April of 2020, Charles
didn't they get married or something?
Part of the popular mugshot trend on social media. Using makeup, he created a bruised face and black eye, posing as if he were taking a mugshot. However, again, he would face more criticism for glorifying domestic violence and criminal behavior, prompting him to again swiftly delete the images. Because soon enough, he realized that his fanbase and the entire community he was surrounded by would drop him at the hat at any single controversial thing. We're talking about the most vacuous people on planet Earth, influencers from LA. And once you reach the top of this industry, any small thing, and you will find yourself without any allies, any friends, and everyone turning their backs on you. But in this case, it was deserved, as that same month on the Mums Under Fireman podcast, a guest claimed to possess a phone recording of an alleged victim of
Osby with more motherfucking biz. And still in the spotlight. Yeah, he died off for a while, but he's come back now.
This is sexual abuse. However, the accusations were unconfirmed. But then more claims came out, suggesting that James engaged in grooming behavior and sent sexually explicit text messages to a minimum of 3 and as many as 6 underage individuals across various platforms. Although he admitted to sending 3 and as many as 6 underage individuals.
Sorry if me flirting you is weird at all.
Individuals across various platforms.
Jeez, you're not straight no matter how many times you tell yourself that. I hope you figure that out sooner rather than later.
Although he admitted
What the fuck? I've had a few marks this evening. Sorry. No, you're great, Osby.
To sending
least that's
flirty
something.
messages to underage boys in a 14-minute video titled "Holding Myself
Good
Accountable."
Lord, dude.
Charles did say that
That's
the minors
scary.
had lied about
I've
the rape,
actually heard that so many times.
despite clear indications in their bios that contradict his claims. But as the accusations continued to mount up, his response grew increasingly aggressive. He was in panic mode. He was losing everything: the sponsors, the influencer parties, the networking opportunities, and his once loyal fanbase. One particular allegation involved a 15-year-old
Is
boy
that
who accused
turkey? Charles
Charles of forceful grooming, leading Charles to block him in an effort to suppress his claims. At that time, numerous reports claimed that at least 15 boys and men had accused Charles of inappropriate sexually orientated behavior, consequently morphed the cosmetics brand, severed connections once and for all with the beauty influencer.
Good.
His
Brother
channel was
cunt, though.
demonetized, and for the second season
I
onwards,
didn't know he
his
had a
show
brother.
Instant Influencers replaced him as a host.
He had a show called Instant Influencers.
PewDiePie, a once friend and fellow YouTuber, unfollowed James on Instagram and lied to these allegations. Suddenly he appeared nowhere. No one wanted anything to do with him, and as a result, according to Forbes, he lost millions of dollars and
Osby!
his entire
You little
credibility.
bitch,
And
bruh.
so, for a couple of years, Charles just faded completely into obscurity. However, in 2023, something would change, and the disgraced star was suddenly back, this time to do a Please Forgive Me piece with Cosmopolitan magazine. Titled "James Charles Would Like to Be Uncancelled Please," the interview touched on everything from grooming to the broader cultural landscape of influencers and beauty standards. Everybody makes mistakes, everybody fucks up, he said. Don't get me wrong, I definitely don't think people should be able to do whatever they want and not be held responsible for it. It's important that people be held accountable, but I think it's also important that we allow people to grow and to learn. But most people didn't really buy it. The comments online clearly showed that James's reputation was well and truly destroyed. Moreover, the shameless
Welcome back, Dan.
celeb even had the nerve to promote his new makeup brand in the middle of what was supposed to be an apology. And now, desperate for more fame and clout and the networking opportunities he once had, he's doing anything he can to get back into the influencer bubble, going so far as to attempt to resurrect his career as a pop star. Now, call me a skeptic, but this doesn't seem like it would be successful at all. But while we're on the topic of duplicitous people displaying despicable behavior, it's time we discuss the Ace family.
No. Listen. Austin's been pretty funny lately.
Perfect encapsulation of everything wrong with modern society, where bad behavior is encouraged and bad people are rewarded. Hailing from Los Angeles, California, the unofficial capital of fake smiles, vacuousness, loneliness, and hollowed out plastic empty content, the family regularly shares videos that include various challenges and pranks. And it'd be nice to say that the family together shares the videos, but really it's just the parents, Austin and Catherine McBroom, who use their children as clickbait to make millions of dollars. And considering their YouTube channel, which launched in 2016, and has reached 18.4 million subscribers, makes it clear that this is an effective strategy, morals aside.
Do they have the ads of their kids on their YouTube, like bit emojis? Is that their...
But it isn't particularly great for the kids. You see, whilst they have all these fake smiles during their videos, the happy thumbnails, their extreme lifestyle, there is a dark side hidden behind this. An incredibly unhappy family. But how the hell did they get 18.4 million subscribers? Well, you see, ACE, in case you're wondering, is an acronym for Austin, Catherine, and Ella, their firstborn daughter. And since the creation of the channel, they had 2 other kids, one boy and one girl. Initially, the content was harmless enough. They were a family in LA, absorbed in a culture where everybody and their dog is an influencer.
Do you guys really think the influencing and all that really broke them up?
Trying to post their stuff online and get as much clout and money as possible. This is normal in LA. And in the start, it was really wholesome stuff. Just silly videos involving the parents and the kids playing playful pranks and the likes. They were trusted, they seemed genuine, and their content, which appeared to show a really fun-loving family having a blast and loving each other deeply, was for many genuinely magnetic. Millions felt a pull to them. They were able to skyrocket their channel because it was just so nice to watch if you were a kid or a family member wanting to watch something wholesome. Their 2017 Christmas special, for example, was widely praised and amassed millions of views on YouTube.
Damn. Imagine getting a Christmas like that. Holy shit.
What the heck?
I had good Christmases. My family
the family
spoiled
looked like
me,
something out of a
but like that's like 50 gifts per kid.
Classic Disney movie. All smiles, love, and affection. And to be clear, this was a time when family vlogging was at an all-time rage, especially in LA. And the Ace family, more accurately Austin and Catherine, were the king and queen of this very profitable domain. They rode the wave, and they gained the money and clout they set out to achieve. And because it seemed so genuine and authentic, they gained this huge following, and seemingly deservedly. However, as the followers and subscribers started piling up and the social media landscape started to become toxic in nature, duo's content got more and
at
more
me.
controversial.
Love
You see,
popping
once
off.
the algorithm's not on your side anymore, you need to change up your content. And sometimes this means hitting the bottom of the barrel, doing the most degenerate, unethical things to keep up that clout and fame coming in. And so soon, the children fast became vehicles for commercialization, monetization,
I'd rather do
and dare I say,
yeah, experiences, but I still like doing gifts. Like, I always get someone a gift. It's a pretty
possible
same.
exploitation.
I like
and as
it.
you'll soon see,
I think
followers and fans
experiences are
also got
gifts.
taken for an emotionally and financially expensive ride. For example, in 2018, the pair took to social media to reveal
scammed
that
his
their
fans
residence has been
so
targeted
many
by
times.
burglars while they were enjoying their time at Disneyland.
We just got home. We've been at Disney all day, and someone broke into our house. As you can see, we literally walk in the house. The house is pitch black. We're tired as hell because we've been at Disney for the past 6 hours.
However, more than a
It's
few
so
people
worth
noted
it,
both
man.
Austin's and the police officers'
Especially when you
playful
work hard
behavior,
and
some of whom were
get
actually
home.
falling around on camera, making everyone with a brain start to think that perhaps this robbery was staged, and perhaps this all-perfect family lifestyle was happily staged as well. But it wouldn't be easy for them to continue as they
Damn.
were, as in 2019, Catherine, who fancies herself as a bit of a skincare guru, was credibly accused of taking another brand, rebranding it, and then selling it as her own.
Damn.
And in the years since the accusations began, her
Hell yeah,
company
Fee.
1212 has been
Shit, you
blasted
bro.
for not only stealing another brand, but specializing in the delivery of broken and damaged goods. The defective products are in many ways a reflection of the deflective nature of Catherine and her allegedly emotionally unhinged
Skincare is
husband.
such a
You see, by
hard
the early
product to get
2020s,
into.
their channel needed more views. They were stagnant and couldn't seem to
You
continue
need
to grow.
if you're into like skincare and makeup, you gotta get some scientific research done, you know what I mean?
They needed to change things up.
That's
And
not
as
for
influencer
everybody.
boxing started to take hold of the internet, Austin realized that this was his next venture.
Bro,
this was the
YouTube boxing to this day just baffles me. Like, I get it, I've watched it, I've played into it, been interested in it here and there. Not too much, not been too crazy about it, but like who gives a like why do we? Isn't this weird? It's so stupid. Yeah, it's just like what the fuck. Like they're not fighters, they're just YouTubers. And one day, like we all got hyped to see YouTubers fight, and then in like 2016 and to this day, it's like another YouTuber fight. What's going on? It's like they just happen all the time now. It's like what the fuck.
next
It's a
wave
money
to
grab.
ride.
Oh,
and so in
100%.
2021, he ventured into boxing promotion through Social Gloves Entertainment, which subsequently resulted in a surge of legal actions filed by
wanna
fighters
do.
and vendors who
I mean,
were not
but you get put in
compensated.
shut
The
people's
first
skins,
ever
so be
Social Gloves
careful.
event held in June 2021 was marketed as the Battle
You
of the
did. I
Platform.
thought Logan Paul was really popular in WWE. Like the fans like him.
Was pitting TikTok stars against YouTubers in boxing matches.
Am
And
I
despite
wrong?
Social Gloves' assurance of sharing pay-per-view profits with its participants, numerous individuals alleged that they never received the payment they were entitled to. These
Yeah,
allegations
bro. He put the YouTube versus TikTok boxing match, and none of the fighters got paid to this day.
to accusations of Austin McBroom engaging in fraudulent practices. It's court documents of alleged lawsuits from digital streaming company LiveX Live, and participants Nate Wyatt and Taylor Holder quickly surfaced online, more or less confirming this. The cracks were starting to show, but the family channel would still continue
Vinny never
full
got paid for fighting Deji.
steam ahead, being the foundation of their
Or
money
Vinny
and fame.
Hacker.
But now the cracks were there, Austin and Catherine were back in the news once again, and for all the wrong reasons. 2 months after the boxing event, the couple then faced allegations of deceiving their fans through a fraudulent giveaway. The
He stripped Bray from his belt.
A's family's giveaway, which was
To be
scheduled for
honest.
Valentine's Day, involved Austin and Catherine McBroom generously offering 3 Tesla Model 3 cars,
Damn, bro.
supposedly to show their appreciation for all the love
That's
and support they had
insane.
received. They knew that if they did this, they could maybe gain some of the followers back that they'd lost over the last couple of years of stagnation and fraudulence. It was their next way to grow their channel. So
That's
the rules would be
crazy.
simple. Fans were asked to show their appreciation for the picture on Catherine McBroom's Instagram profile by liking it, as well as following her. Additionally, they were instructed to mention 2 friends in the comments section. Catherine then quickly tagged Austin's Instagram page for yet another chance to win.
Jeez.
Catherine further mentioned that the announcement of the winners would take place through her Instagram story. But it
Like,
didn't.
so when they have all these Instagram rules, blah blah blah, like how do they even measure that? Like, how do they find account? Or like, all right, this account followed all accounts 9. It also tagged 2 friends. Like they scroll through all the comments and they find like, dude, what the fuck?
The giveaway, many argued, was supposedly fraudulent, with videos like this
We
coming
fooled
out
them.
showing that perhaps
I
this
mean, I
was
think
another
WWE
sign of
is
their
fun.
fakery. But this wasn't really a surprise when
always
you look at these
wondered
family
that.
channels, they're all doing the same thing,
Jeez.
exploiting anyone and anyone they can, even their
Real
own
Ozzy.
children, just so that they can get some limelight. But it gets bad. You see, their children are really the only reason why they're so popular. Without the kids, specifically the exploitation.
Chat, are you gonna put your kids on social media or no?
the kids, no one would care about Austin and
YouTubers step
Catherine,
in.
two random people with a penchant for supposedly fraud and fake promises. But they just seem to be so unhinged morally. Nothing is off limits
He's
to them,
chunky.
as long as they can get more
Must be.
clout in the LA influencer
She a
bubble.
baddie,
And to
though.
do this, the entirety of their 3
I
children's
forgive Catherine because she a baddie, but fuck you, Austin.
lives have served as a prime YouTube content machine. I mean, they even live stream their births. It's honestly so dystopian. The fact that they
What?
would go this far, showing their most intimate moments with their children
Live stream
to the
a
entire
birth?
world of millions
Oh, hell no. It'll be a no.
of people,
I stay
just
a
shows what
gamer.
people will do
No,
for
no,
views
no.
if they're so narcissistically incentivized. Sometimes this can even mean faking a divorce.
24/7.
In January of this year, the pair announced that they were separating suddenly. But some people were claiming that this was staged. After all, shortly after announcing their split, Austin went searching for a new home, yet ended up settling into an RV right outside his old home. Why would he do this, some have asked, unless of course it's to get attention and reignite the stagnant channel that's not bringing in the same views, money and clout that it used to. And the fact that they're filming all of this means it can't be that real to them, as it's important to remember that although they announced they were divorcing, they still haven't filed any papers. And whilst you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, you would be forgiven for thinking that this is yet
Damn.
another rather desperate PR stunt
It's
by
crazy.
two people who really shouldn't be parenting these
say
children.
yes or
We already
no.
discussed one controversial beauty influencer, but now it's time to end the video on one of the most degenerate influencers
Oh,
out there,
no.
Jeffree Star, an American beauty YouTuber.
Dude, I don't know much about him. First of all, this motherfucker, and I have proof of this, has come to my TikTok live streams, has followed me on TikTok, unfollowed me on TikTok multiple times. This motherfucker is weird as hell, and I don't know anything about him. G6! Holy fucking shit! 1,500 for my boy! G6, you are a legend, bro. You're going down in history as the legend. Fucking shit, Chad. 1,500. That's crazy. But every time someone says Jeffree Star, anything about Jeffree Star is always bad. Some messy, nasty shit. I love you more, G6.
Pickup artist, model, entrepreneur, and
God
former
damn,
musician.
bro,
With almost 16 million subscribers, the 38-year-old holds the distinction of being one of the most subscribed beauty gurus on YouTube. Why? The guy is, by all appearances, somewhat mentally unhinged, and has always been this way for years. In 2006, Jeffree Star actually held the title of being the most popular person on MySpace, and a couple years later, he unveiled his
What the
debut studio
fuck?
album, having been signed to the same record label as Lady Gaga. But it wasn't until the establishment of
He
Jeffree
was
Star
signed to the time. I didn't even know he made music. When I
in
met him.
2014 that he truly gained widespread recognition everywhere,
I
and soon
appreciate you,
after
T.
widespread notoriety. And for almost all of this period, he has been one of the biggest degenerates, both before he was famous and after. Back in the early 2000s, Jeffree created a brand called Lipstick Nazi. The brand, replete with Nazi imagery, was really a sight to behold, and he was able to keep this a secret for almost 20 years. If anyone in the LA bubble knew about
Signed back in 06,
this,
yuck.
he would have been shunned completely. And eventually he would
Glamrock.
be. 20 years after making this Nazi brand, he responded to the resurfacing of the brand by saying, quote, "I want
Lord.
to talk to you about something and a very dumb decision I
Jeffree.
made when I was
Thank
very
you
young.
so much for
I
the
created a
his
URL
Oz.
called lipsticknazi.com.
I
It was very
appreciate it.
narcissistic and I was just going to have the website be a bunch of crazy pictures of me. So the term lipstick Nazi is disgusting. I just want people to know, looking at me, it's wrong and I should never have used it. But it wasn't just this.
Osby's a
Around the
W.
same time, he was also making hit-friendly products, whilst also using racial slurs, which is funny considering he's part of
What
the woke
the
entertainment
fuck?
bubble. And it was only in 2016 when a compilation created by fans showcased video footage of Star engaging in racial abuse towards women in public, and it's believed the footage dates back to around 2004. But in this period, from the early 2000s to now, Jeffree is iconic. He's
What
been on
the
all the major
fuck?
podcasts. He's famous across the world, having untold millions in his bank account. And yet somehow, throughout growing his huge
Jeez.
channel, his huge influence, and this huge brand he's built, he's been doing
love
this
you
stuff
guys, I
consistently
feel good.
behind the scenes. In
2007,
2006, he also
I
referenced a
know.
black client of his, saying,
Well, maybe if she wasn't wearing the wrong foundation color, I wouldn't have to splash no battery acid. I wanted to lighten her skin tone, girl.
and then in 2017,
Jeez, G6, bro! Thank you so motherfucking much, G6, for the gifted sub.
Star yet again released another apology
God
video,
damn, bro.
this time for being a racist. This was just after offering another apology for the stuff he said towards people in public.
I really fell for a lot of things and I got caught up in the hype. It's disgusting.
Another one! Did he just say he got caught up in the hype of racism? I like how he's taking this video on his $1 million couch with his arching stairways and his $1 million glass door in the background. Real humble, great apology. Dude, thank you so fucking much, G6.
It's awful, and none of it should have happened. I want to speak to you as a human being that breathes on this earth with you.
He's got a sordid history of doing insane, truly awful things. Even on podcasts like Logan Paul's, he brags about how many dicks he can suck.
1,000? Yo, I don't
more. I'm just saying I answered his
1,000?
Yes. Swear,
So
on my life.
It's almost a mockery of everything wrong with LA influencer culture, but all throughout his career he seems to have had these horrible moments. In 2016, he called makeup
The
Shayla
earth
a
with
cunt.
you. Unfortunately, right? 704. You're a Chad. 400, probably more than that.
Saying, I'll actually beat you to the fucking ground and mean it.
It's
And
so
whilst this guy's
fake.
unhingedness probably adds to his creativity and his overall success, it does make you wonder, how is this guy not locked up? But at least he's quite funny compared to other people, even if it's in an ironic way. As in 2019, rather hilariously, James Starr sent a tweet to the aforementioned James Charles' brother saying, quote, "Why is your brother a predator? Why you'd really move back to New York City?" Exactly. Shut the fuck up. He continued, there is a reason I made ban James Charles from ever...
Dude! We're watching Jeffree Star get exposed. We're watching the most degenerate influencers. Thank you so motherfucking much for another gifted. Bro, we're almost at we're at 689.
coming to our home again. There's a
Bro, we're at 690. Bro, chat. We're literally 10 away from 700. What the fuck? What the fuck? Chat, I literally said, I was like, if we get 700 subs, I'll stream 8 hours. And I did not think we'd get anywhere close tonight. Because we were like 625.
the reason why I haven't seen them since at Glam Life Guru's birthday in February.
Fucking love you,
He's a
G6.
danger to society. Then in 2018, the ex-hairstylist
Last day of
Jeffree Star
April. Bro, the last sub goal is 800, then 1,000. But 800, you guys get to pick out a tattoo from me.
revealed a series of text messages that he previously received during his time working with Jeffree. Within these messages,
Oh my god.
Jeffree's racism was once
Welcome
again
back,
on full
Manuel.
show, referring to a fellow beauty influencer as a gorilla. So the influencer hit back, urging Jeffree Star fans and defenders to stop making excuses for people just because we like the way they blend eyeshadow. But it's funny that if you're in this LA influencer scene, you can usually get away with the worst things, or whilst blending in if you have enough social clout and money. The entire bubble is in many ways just a cesspit of depravity, with people desperate for fame
1,000, I'm gonna do a stream in a maid dress.
and fortune, debasing themselves on a daily basis. And Star's no
You'd be a
exception to the
stupid
rule,
little
and literally
himbo.
made a career out of debasing himself and insulting anyone he sees as below him. Moreover, as Business Insider reported in 2020, Star actually appears to have a sordid history of sexual misconduct.
Can't wait
but
for
it's hard
that. Well, if we hit 1,000, which I don't think we had 1,000 a day left.
to prove any of this stuff, and this is just going from information from Business Insider. But clearly
Hell yeah,
concerned by
feet.
all of this, Jeffree Star actually offered 2 of the accusers $10,000
funny.
to take away their allegations. A fairly measly
Damn, $10,000? Chat, would you take back your allegations for 10K if someone called you a racist slur? Wait, what? I don't know. If someone called me, I don't know, bro. I don't know how bad it feels being a white person. Obviously, I've never had to go through that discrimination and how bad it hurts. I know it's a pain, but 10K is a lot of money. Hell no, I respect that. I love monies. I do respect that.
sum for a guy supposedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It could and probably should be argued that Star is also dangerous.
He's good for breaking gender norms. Everyone wearing makeup, etc. I mean, there were a lot of people doing that, but yeah, he was probably the most famous one.
To society. He's like something out of
You need
Idiocracy.
money.
This crazy guy who brags about
He's
sucking as many
problematic.
cocks as possible, making a Hitler makeup brand.
Listen, bragging about sucking cocks isn't that bad, okay? Like, why? I feel like I'm getting called out.
Is now worth untold millions
Like, no.
and reached the heights of LA fame. And whilst it's clear he
Welcome
doesn't
back.
really care about humans or the people around him, his cosmetics line is known for being vegan and animal cruelty free,
Hell yeah.
with his social media posts filled with his beloved pets. But at least overall, this guy's just outwardly degenerate. He's not trying to hide it. This is his online personality.
Real. That's mine. That's why, like, when people are like, oh, Sin's such a degenerate, I'm just like, yeah, I know.